All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock on the first Friday of the month. If you remember, we do these conversations at the center on those days. We'd like to welcome everybody that's joining us today. I think what we'll do is we don't have very many questions, so if it's okay with everybody, I think we'll just wait probably just one more minute. I'll see, we got some people coming in. It's 1:01 p.m., so we're just gonna wait a little bit. Before we start, just some reminders. I'm going to mute everybody as they're coming in. So if you have any questions or anything, don't be afraid just to come off mute. We can talk. We have, I believe, four questions today. And don't forget, if you'd like to submit your questions online, please use the subject of conversation at the center. So then I know that I need to print those off and save them. I do get some throughout the month I get questions all the time, really. And so I don't know if those are for this or if it's for the board meeting or if it's something else. So while we're waiting that extra minute, just a reminder that the board meeting, the Animal Service Center Mesilla Valley board meeting, is the fourth Thursday of every month. If that Thursday is going to fall on a holiday, usually we do it the week before. For instance, I know like Christmas went into 2020, and also Thanksgiving is a big one too. So 2 months in a row there, our Animal Services Mesilla Valley board meeting was adjusted, but we get notices out in time for everybody to be covered for that. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else before we get started. We're 3 minutes after, so here we go. I'm going to jump right in. All right. So this person says that I found the attached very confusing. It says, as you saw on Facebook, the discussion is loud and furious on the adoption fees. Same has been occurring on Nextdoor. So, and this is the flyer. This is our Animal Service Center Mesilla flyer that we sent out. And it's showing, the purpose is to show how much all around here these services are. And then at the bottom, we talk about our adoption fees. So it could be seen as a little confusing because we're stating that all of these cost this much. So are we adding them all up? Or are we charging that much? And the question is we were just showing you the cost that was going to be associated with an animal and the value you're getting from adopting from the Animal Service Center or the ASCMV. We did increase our adoption fees recently, and I want you to think of it as a discount program that we have. So the adoption fees they are $150. That is for an unsterilized animal. Now, if you choose an animal that is adopted, if you choose an animal that is sterilized, then you get a $75 discount from that $150. So that's cut down. If you choose an animal that is sterilized and been here longer than 90 days, then you get another discount of $25. So right there, if you do those two things, then you get a $50 adoption fee. That still includes the microchipping, still includes the vaccines, your licensing, all of that. And there's also combinations in there. So if you choose an animal that's not sterilized, but it's been here longer than 90 days, then you still get that $25 discount. So it would be $125. And the reason behind this, I'm sorry. If you adopt an animal that's $150, that includes the sterilization. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold that animal overnight or for a few nights, get it sterilized, and then you can pick up your animal. We're doing this so we can get away from this program called a foster to adopt. We're still going to have that program because there are going to be times when, like a puppy or an animal's too sick that it won't be able to get sterilized, but it will be able to be adopted. So we'll adopt it, put it into the adoption of the foster to adopt program, and sterilize it at a later date. But we're trying to get these animals sterilized prior to adoption So we're pushing people more towards long-termers. We're pushing people more towards already sterilized. What that happens is that frees up our veterinarians' time, so we can add more animals into surgery on the veterinarian side, and that capacity goes up the number of sterilized animals. So are there any questions at all about our adoption fees? I know it's different and it's a change, but we'd love to answer any questions you may have. Jean, it looks like you're coming off mute.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Clint, you said think of it as a discount program or a discount service. I didn't catch that last part.
It's a discount program is what I would call it.
Okay, yeah, and so you're taking there's a reduction every time for the various things, like for SpayNeuter, if the animal is microchipped and so on and so forth, right? You deduct that amount from the 150.
Well, you're right as far as we're deducting, but the microchipping isn't one of them. The only deductions that you're getting is if the animal's already sterilized and if the animal's been here longer than the 90 days. Those are the deductions that you're getting. The microchipping it's already included. Vaccines are already included. Sterilization's included. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let me make it clear. We are not adopting out animals that are intact, they're not sterilized. Okay, so a finalized adoption is when an animal has been sterilized and all fees are paid. You can't do those things without first getting the animal sterilized and paying the fees. So that's only when an adoption is finalized is when those things happen. Okay. It continues. Could you please address how or why fees are set as they are? So we did that. What are the various fees on the attached graphic? Why such a spread on items? What they're talking about is on this one, as you can see, Bordetella 25 to 35, rabies 25 to 50. Again, all this is this is just showing you what you could be charged at a veterinarian. Our fees might be different than a veterinarian. Somebody up north or down south in El Paso may have a different veterinarian that charges different than here in Las Cruces. So we did a spread just showing that this is how much you could be charged on some of these things. Spay or neuter, $50 to $300. I just heard from our doc that she knows a person up north in northern New Mexico. I think, Doc, didn't you say $800 for a spay? I think is what she told me.
$850 for the spay of a medium to large young animal. Yes.
That was ridiculous to be charging that much. So that's why the big spread. And also the spread of $150 for our adoption fees, all the way down to free, which I forgot to mention. So heartworm positive animals are free, and senior animals over 7 years of age are also free. If you're a senior citizen, you still get the $25 discount that we've been getting from Doña Ana County Humane Society for a long time. Michelle, you got your hand up?
I noticed on this conversation and the last one group Zoom meeting, you keep leaving out the poor kitties. Just remember the FELB, F5B cats are free as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. She said, and then it says, consider graphics more clear, understand the total structure of fees. Would you also discuss the new Adoptimized photos? Photographing animals in the shelter is a challenge at best, but you're getting a lot of negative comments about them. So what we're doing is we joined a Maddie's Fund, which is a big player in the animal industry for, I guess, for grants and other resources. You can look them up, maddiesfund.org is their email address or is their web address. They're doing a, I don't know what it would be called, like a push to get animals returned to owner, returned to home. And shelters all across the nation have joined up to do a big push to get animals back to their owners. Well, we joined that cause as well. And with that cause, you get a free 1-year subscription to a computer program called Adoptimize. And what Adoptimize is you take and it takes the background out of the animal's photo. And the reason why this is so helpful is people are more focused on the actual animal instead of what's behind. We're working on getting better pictures. At the time that this was written, and also when Adoptimize was brand new, yeah, there were some weird ones, like there's only the head and it was turned to the side. And so the color, I understand, it was really odd looking. But we're getting better at it. We're taking full body pictures, and people know, individuals here at the center know that those pictures are looking odd, and they're making their changes for them. The reason why this Adoptimize program was included is shelters that have been using it have been seeing a large increase, 35% increase in return to home, and also in adoptions. So that's why Maddie's Fund has included that in with this coalition that we're found. Let's see, next question is, what is the status on the new veterinarian position? And when hired, will the shelter may be able to do more spay or neuter for members of the general public? So this is a good question. It's a two-prong though. We received in our budget a position, an additional veterinarian position. That is held up in human resources right now. They finally got back to us on a pay grade of what it's going to be, but they just gave us the pay grade. They didn't tell us how much it's going to be. So we're trying to work with human resources, the city of Las Cruces, to get that amount. As soon as we get that amount, we can start getting that word out. That was as of last week. Now, so that's for the veterinarian position. Now, Dr. Haddon also behind the scenes has been working endlessly also with the city of Las Cruces to get a contract written up that allows her to go out and get more veterinarians to do surgery. So she has been recruiting individuals. We're at a stage right now where we can reach out and get quotes from individuals, from veterinarians. Per the policy of City of Las Cruces, we have to get quotes when it's over a certain amount of money of how much those services will charge. It's a pain, it adds to the process, but it saves the city in the long run, because they can, if anybody comes to them and says, hey, you never asked me, or how come are you doing the cheapest one? They can say, look, we went out, we asked for, this is the information we got. We have to get 3 quotes. Even if a person responds and says, we won't offer that service, or if nobody responds, that still shows effort on our part or from the city that they got it. So that's where that process is for that, is we're going to reach out probably next week, right, Doc, on getting those done.
Yes.
Okay, Jean?
Can I ask a question, Clint, on that? Is
Sure.
now when Dr. Hayden can get out and start talking to vets in town, is this they would be doing some shelter animals or animals from the public, and they would be doing them the spay and neuter at their clinics, or would they wouldn't be coming to the shelter and working there, would they?
Dr. Haddon, I'll turn that over to you to answer.
Okay, just a minute. Sorry.
Are you taking your time wisely and eating during our meeting?
That was the thought. It was a bad thought. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. You're so busy. I'm surprised that you found time to eat.
I didn't. It's being interrupted right now. But that's okay. Okay. The question was, no, the doctors will be coming to the shelter and doing the animals here. They will be doing, at least initially, primarily, they will be doing shelter animals. They will also be doing RTOs, the return to owners, as needed. And in the future, depending on how things pan out, they may be doing some of the publics as well as we start those. But right now they will be coming here. You know, I call them a contract vet, and we already have some of them coming that are on a contract already. And they come here and they do surgeries for me, us. Does that answer your question?
Sure, and I wanted to ask, is there a kind of a date, any speculation on when that would be happening?
Well, we already have doctors coming in right now doing surgery.
Right.
In order to expand it all, I need to be fully staffed. Right now, I am pulling one of my medical staff technicians back to the back for surgery, which leaves my medical folks short. I can't really give you a date because I don't know what the holdup is with HR. I told them probably 3 weeks ago now that I wanted to hire this person, and I haven't heard. We've had front staff that was tentative start date was February 14th. We still haven't heard. So unfortunately, I can't give you a date as to when we will be up and running, but okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And also, just so you know, we have expressed our frustrations with the process to city councilors and also to the city manager, the new city manager. So they're aware of it as well. And from what I hear, it's not just us having issues. It seems to be more departments as well with the hiring procedures. So Dr. Haddon, don't take another bite because there's another question here. It says a few people have contacted me who want to do spay-neuter community cats, but are having trouble figuring out how to make appointments with local vets when they aren't sure their trapping will be successful. So I don't see a question in there, but I can tell you that we are doing spay-neuters for community cats for county community cats, correct?
Yes, yes.
So all they have to do there is just contact the animal center and we can get you in touch with the correct person.
There is a spay-neuter coordinator email. If you use that, if anyone has questions about spay-neuter, and I don't know if it's posted anywhere. I don't think so, because we hadn't really figured out where's a good place to post it. But I pushed to get this email set up and I haven't got any email yet. But it is. And if you have suggestions as to where we can make this available that is the most appropriate, I'm waiting for it to come up. The email it's S as in spay, N as in neuter, _ ASCMV @lascruces.org. If anyone has spay-neuter questions, they can ask there. Scheduling, we're trying to push them there.
Can you temporarily just put it on the Facebook page or run a notice on ASCMV's Facebook page? Or is that not good to give it public that way, the email?
I think the reason that we didn't is because we're not doing publics and we don't want to get inundated by the public thinking we're doing surgery. So yeah. I think that's why we're holding off right there.
We could probably do it, Doc, on the foster and rescue page of Facebook.
Yes.
Those individuals, and we can put a notice on there that this is not for public spay-neuter at this point. This is only for like county community cats or rescues, needing, or fosters needing surgery or needing appointments for spay-neuter. So it's something we can talk about on Thursday.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, on Tuesday.
Or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Okay. Kathy, you're waving. Are you flying away or you want to talk? Oh, you're on mute. There
Okay.
you go.
Okay, don't click it up there, click it down here. We'll get there. So the last sentence that you said wasn't really a question, was just trying to get a sense if when HR gets off their hiney and gets the position posted and you're able to hire a vet, the capabilities of the shelter to help the folks that are asking about, they want to do TNR, but they can't schedule an appointment for 6 weeks from now and know they're going to have trapped one or two guys. I mean, Joe called me one afternoon and said, can you trap 3 by this evening? You know, it's like, well, I don't know. We'll see how many go into the trap. But if I have an appointment set up with a vet, I'm going to get charged for canceling that at the last minute when I don't trap a cat. So I was just trying to get a sense of where the shelter's headed with being able to do TNR for the public, if that's going to be a possibility at all.
Absolutely. As long as it's county right now, and even right now, we can. We just have to make the connection between the public and us. And that's why we will post this email. So right now we've had folks call in the front, and even this weekend right now, we have probably 9 or 10 cats coming in from the public TNR tomorrow. And we had one dropped off this morning, TNR. So we are doing county public TNR. So have you been told differently?
No, I'm talking about city folks.
Oh, okay.
City dwellers who are going to set a trap in our backyard. If we bring that animal to you, you're going to have to euthanize if you determine it's feral.
Clint, you want to, where if it's owned, if you will claim ownership of that cat, we will do that public surgery. I'm watching Clint very closely.
I'm frozen. I can't hear. I can't say anything.
If the individual that brings in this cat says, this is my cat and it's an outside cat, can you alter it? We will, and ear tip it, and we call it a public spay-neuter. We do not call it a TNR because it is not legal in the city limits. A condition of that is, as the quote unquote owner of this animal, if ACOs pick it up, Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, if ACOs pick it up, you may be ticketed for an animal that is not quote unquote restrained.
Yeah,
that is the caveat.
Because right now the ordinance states that there's no such thing as a trap neuter return program. There's no such thing as a community cat. They're considered, there's a feral cat and it can't be released. All feral cats have to be euthanized. So if you are taking responsibility of the animal, the microchip that is implanted will go back to you as the owner. And also this is on a limited basis right now.
Right.
Because like I said, we don't have a lot of contracted vets and we don't have our other veterinarian. But once those things become more available, then we'll be able to pick up our surgery schedule. Just so you know, we make it sound like not a lot of surgeries are happening, but Dr. Hadd and her staff in 2020 did over 2,400 surgeries. So that is an incredible amount. And that's with one surgery table back there and limited staff. So they're working hard at it. Okay, thank you. Next question. Is the upcoming city council work session going to be open to the public? Are the proceedings going to be broadcast and available on the city YouTube channel? Great question. The answer is I do not know. I'm not part of the city. I can tell you that I'm presenting in this work session. I know you can go to the city webpage and you can view those meetings, and then you can also contact the city and ask if they are. I'm assuming they are because it's a public meeting.
Clint?
Yeah.
At the top of the agenda, it says you can view that meeting at Las Cruces www.civicweb.net.
Okay, thank you. It says here.
Was
I
that
want-
last week's meeting, Kathy?
No, I'm looking, in fact, I sent you an email earlier, Jean.
Yeah, and I think that was last week's meeting, March
This
the
is March
1st.
8th.
Oh, March 8th. So that's this coming Monday's the work session. And you can register, did you say?
No,
At
it's-
the city?
And trying to think back on my years at the city, on whether or not they allow public input at a work session. Because there isn't a registration out there to register to actually say something. There's just a viewing option right now. I've emailed Jamie and I emailed the community engagement office to ask if there will be public input, and if so, what is the link? Because darn if I can remember if we get to say anything at a work session. Too many years ago.
They said they want to give a shout out to the Animal Service Center Mesilla Valley photography team. The pictures of adoptable animals on website, as always, look really good. A lot of that has to do with volunteers that are coming and doing that. We appreciate what they do. And then volunteers are also helping us upload those pictures now as well. Would you be open to the idea of having some sort of video display in the center lobby or some similar location that would show pictures of the ASCMV animals that are currently in foster? I know the Shelter Love software publishes the pictures of the adoptable animals directly to the website. Perhaps it would be possible for to publish fosters directly to such a display. The issue with that is our lobby is closed. We only have 2 people at a time are allowed to be in that lobby, 2 customers. So right now at this point, it's not an idea, but I like, we were actually going to that idea before of having a computer available where people could come in the lobby and look at foster animals. So that's something for sure we want to continue to pursue once the COVID restrictions are over. The person says the new signs promoting adoptions are awesome. Thank you for taking action on that idea and for making it happen so quickly. I believe what they're referring to are our incredible banners that are up. Now when I drive by, they are eye-catching. You can see them. They're in good locations. So we appreciate that suggestion. This one says, I was just looking on ASCMV.org at the adoptable animals. I was wondering if you have any out-of-state transport partners for pit bulls and other large animals. So I just took 23 animals out of state, and when I drove up to Colorado Springs and dropped them off, and the person there at this rescue said that they have a hard time moving pit bulls, but they aren't opposed to taking them. She says she likes to have about 25% of her current inventory as pit type animals. So that's always one. I know Halo is taking some. They just don't move very fast. So I don't know of any dedicated rescues that only take pit bull type dogs that are currently accepting more and always want more. But I mean, pitties are they're great dogs. Once you get to know them and see how they're just block-headed silliness usually is what they are. I love having them. For other larger animals, I don't know if they're meaning larger animals like different larger breeds or if they're talking like livestock and such, but there's rescues all over for almost everything. And I think that most of you know, we're not hesitant just, to drive anywhere for anything. If we're getting animals out of here alive, that's what we're looking for. I want to do a quick shout out, especially to Liz, our rescue coordinator right now. She made it possible for my trip up to Colorado Springs. I dropped a dog off in Albuquerque, and then I dropped some puppies off in Raton for Colorado Puppy Rescue. And it was so awesome just to see how all this was working out. And I was just doing steps all the way up the state. So kudos to her. And also Monica, I know you've been working really close with her and trying hard and connecting those dots. So it's not just the drive to Colorado and then back. I was dropping them off all the way along the way. So appreciate that. So those are the questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
I just want to thank you, Clint, for driving. I think that was great. It was a long road and a lot of stops and a lot of coordination. So good for you. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. I told Liz, I said, because she was acting a little burnt out and she made some comments. And I said, you need to tell us whenever you are burnt out, and you don't want to go. So she did. She spoke up and says, I really don't feel up to it. So I figured I better put my money where my mouth is and and take it. So I enjoy driving and doing that. So, and the people that you meet in the rescues are great. I mean, it's just good to have that similarity where you are all trying to do your best for the animals. So it was good. But thank you. I appreciate it. Kathy, yes.
Gotta unmute me here. Could we follow up on, I think it was like 2 chats ago when you were gonna look into how the website functions? Like if I go in and apply a filter and then I select an animal to look at, then I go back and I have to set the filter again.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. We looked into it between our web developers and also Shelter Love, and it's the way that Shelter Love has it set. So what you're seeing there is code that Shelter Love provides. It has nothing to do with our web developer. It's all code. And so we have that code on the website and it resets the code every time. So it's a Shelter Love feature and it's a pain. Because I know what you're talking about. I went on there to show some people and I'm like, man, this is a pain. It is, I mean, it's, when I say it's a pain, it's like a first world problem, right? You have to make 3 extra clicks with your mouse to find something, but we brought it up with Shelter Love. They said their favorite statement to make, that they'll put it on the list of updates that they can make. So they said they did. Michelle's shaking her head. So's Monica. Yeah, we all know that line, right? We'll put it on the list of updates. So, but thank you for that. I appreciate you bringing that up. Anybody else have questions? Yes, Jean.
I wanted to ask you what has the response been to the raised adoption fee? I know, of course, you explained the to think of it as a discount program, but what has the general overall response been from people?
It's a mixed bag. It really is. We have a couple people out in the rescue world that are very upset about it and they don't like it. And that we have also people in the rescue world that have no problem with it at all and they applaud us. For looking out and running it and getting what we can, or I shouldn't say that, I should say persuading people to look at our already sterilized and also the long-term animals. As far as how adoptions are going, that's a hard one to tell because if we compare to last February, that was pre-COVID. So we don't really have numbers yet to compare to it, but I can tell you that we have unsterilized animals, or I should say people are adopting at the $150 mark with no questions at all. Michelle, you got a question or comment?
Just a comment to let you know that, on the few people that I've heard, I don't have the numbers yet either. We're still collecting that. But I know when people come in and they're told the fees and stuff, nobody's had any negative. There's really not been any negative about the fees that I've heard. But we're still gathering numbers.
Yeah, people are paying that amount. And then when we say, well, you're going to have to wait, 2 days, 1 day over the weekend, they're like, okay, great. And it really hasn't been a barrier as of yet that we've seen, but thank you.
And it's probably too soon to say if it's having the desired result, like we talked about, we hope that it doesn't have any unintended consequences, but, the desired result and that some of the overlooked longer term animals are being adopted.
We haven't seen as many of the longer term adoptions being done, but we've seen an increase in already sterilized. And our foster to adopt program for the first time ever is down to double digits, like low. Like last time I saw, as you know, in our meeting the other day, we had, it was 22, I believe. And Doc's done surgery since then. 22 animals in our foster to adopt program. And that's phenomenal. Paul, you have your hand raised, sir.
I was also going to say, because right now our adoptions are web-based, that's how they first see the animals. We're still working on setting up a system so that it's easy to see online which animals are going to have those discounts. So I think until that really gets worked out, it's kind of hard to see the result of that incentive to go with the, you know, the long-term dogs or the pre-sterilized animals. So we're still working on our website people with that.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions?
I guess I have something else too. I don't want to monopolize, but the Animal Protection New Mexico is going to be offering a Q&A on the, I don't know if they're calling it a webinar, but it's a Q&A on the applying for the SpayNeuter funding that's coming from SB 57, you know, the tax on pet food that we finally got through. I'm just wondering if the shelter if the Animal Services Center qualifies to look into that kind of funding. How does that work for a municipal animal shelter?
That's a good question. This is the first time I've heard about any of that. So if you could send me what information you have and I'll look into it. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to give you guys an update really quick on the new center that we have. We're still in negotiations. There's been some issues and problems because cost has gone up so much with COVID that we're looking to have to do some changes versus what we had designed and what we're looking at, but we're being very careful about those. So just know that it's still in negotiations with the contractor. Don't think that the contractor is a bad person here. They're doing their best to, we're all doing our best to keep it what it was, but we'll see what can happen. I mean, steel alone has gone up 300%, the cost of steel. So we're looking at it. So that's where we are there. We hope to have groundbreaking ceremony, a fun groundbreaking ceremony in March, but we'll have to see. What else to update on? Michelle, Paul, Doc, you guys have anything? No? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well, any other questions from the gallery?
Have you heard anything, any update about the dog by the river with the jug over its head?
That's the first time I've heard about that.
Oh, they were posting yesterday. I guess it started in Radium Springs. It's a large dog. It's got a plastic jug.
Oh,
over its head,
man.
and it's losing
Yeah,
weight.
it hasn't entered the shelter as far as I know.
Yeah, and today they were going to send up a drone and they had crews out there. I just wondered if anybody had heard anything.
I haven't. That's horrible. Poor thing has to be frightened.
Yeah.
You know, dogs work off of smell and sight, and it can't do either of those. So that's got to be terrifying.
And you can see the weight loss from the original pictures to the ones they took yesterday. So
I think it was Cherish Canines, wasn't it, Kathy, that had
Yeah.
it posted? And
Mhm.
Carla was, her and her team of people were working on it.
yeah, and the county's taking the lead, and they got a drone operator who was supposed to go up this morning, see if they could locate it, and then close in on it and be able to get him or her.
Well, thank you for that info. I hope all goes well. They can get a hold of them. And if we do get something, we'll put it on Facebook. People know. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I sure appreciate all your help. Honestly, people think that this is a big deal for us to do this, and it must be a pain, but I enjoy talking with individuals. about the rescue. I want them to see the passion that we have for this animal industry. And I also like to feel your guys' passion. I know what your concerns are. And that's just helpful for everybody to have that. So I appreciate everybody attending. I'd like to see more people come, but we can't force them. You know, there's some people that are loud voices out there, but then they never show up to these meetings and things. And I know it's during the day and it's hard. So, but it is recorded. So please share the word. We're going to get those out on our Facebook page. And we just appreciate everybody coming. So if you have any questions, you don't need to wait until these meetings. Please give me a call or you can email me. And we'll get those addressed as soon as possible. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day and a great weekend. We'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clint
See ya.
and staff. Bye-bye.
Bye.